this is the generational thing, Mary.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of you in chat have never heard of James Charles. You're not familiar with this person.
And you're better off for it.
Just like
Till
Brett.
today.
Yeah, you're not alone, Brett. There are people who don't know who this is. So allow me to explain for the uninitiated. James Charles is a beauty influencer, YouTuber, adjacent to Jeffree Stars of the world. He's also the first male cover girl back from like 2016 or something like that. He's been around for a while and he's earned a reputation for creeping on guys online, specifically men who are straight and are therefore not interested. And he's even gotten in trouble for messaging guys who are underage. And he did not check if they were adults when he messaged them. He got in trouble for that most recently,
Mary,
like
sometimes,
2020.
Sometimes I just
Him and
think
Ezra
it's not
Miller,
worth
man.
it. Yeah, they could start like
They're
own,
wilding out.
We should send them off to like Bulgaria together.
I would say
Just leave them in Bulgaria.
Yeah, is there a place like Australia is a country now, but that's what
These androgynous men and their
British did.
antics.
Like
never
like,
ends.
When I look at something like this, I'm like I was so much happier before the internet, before the stuff was like readily available.
Yeah, I'm unfortunately I'm not surprised by this most recent incident. He messaged a TikToker whose account is basically showing off his physique, and he's like a bodybuilder or weightlifter kind of influencer. David Stoughton. Or Stoughton? I'm not sure how to say his name. And now this TikToker has exposed all of their DMs, all the videos that James Charles sent to him, and it's pretty disturbing stuff. So first we know James Charles asked David for an age check, and then after finding out that this person is over 18, very diligent James Charles, by the way. Thank you for doing the bare minimum.
Very good of you to at least make sure that you're not accidentally corrupting someone.
Yeah, good for you. After that, he went to Instagram and sent him this string of very unhinged messages. All at once. He said, "It's a really lucrative role. It's called My Boyfriend. Requirements: 6'2" or over. Must love escape rooms, horror movies, and cuddling. Big beep. Armpit hair and an occasional FaceTime call. The salary is $0, but it's a good job offer, I think. Perks include a cute boyfriend with a great personality and a huge ass. Free living in a $10 million house in LA. Fun travel opportunities." I'm not gonna repeat this one part and more.
I was wondering if you were going to repeat that part.
I was not going to repeat that part.
I'm glad you were not going to repeat that part.
So imagine just like some stranger follows you on TikTok and they immediately like this is the opener.
Like,
would
no,
you not
hello,
be weirded out?
Not how you doing? Not how about the Mets? Not literally
the
anything,
weather, huh?
Just wow, global warming. I'd rather you talk about politics first things first than this.
Politics, religion, anything.
Like, hey, so what are
these
your thoughts,
messages
honey?
were also sent in vanish mode, so they expire after a certain amount of time, which is an interesting choice. Maybe because he knows he shouldn't be sending messages like this to strangers.
Yes.
And after David told James Charles that he did not want to FaceTime him, James sent him this long video trying to convince him that he should. And by the way, this is after David has already stated he is heterosexual. So I don't understand what the goal is here, but let's just show the video. It's from Twitter. It's a video from Twitter.
So up top here. So this one
This one, yeah. Okay. It's like a very long-winded explanation of why he should FaceTime him.
So if I'm being like, "Oh my God, David, you're annoying," over text, right? You don't know if I'm saying like, "Oh my God, David, you're being annoying," or like, "Oh my God, David, you're being annoying," or like, "Oh my God, David, you're being fucking annoying." Because all three of those are completely different, like, emotions.
James Charles, you're being annoying.
See through text, you only get to actually experience those through a FaceTime call or through being in person. Even over the phone, you still miss out on things because you're missing somebody's facial expressions, right? So because you refuse to hang out with people or because you refuse to FaceTime, you're not allowing people to actually get to know you as like a human being. And that's a massive, massive problem whenever it comes to being in a relationship with somebody. You cannot fall in love with somebody simply just from text. So
that was fantastic gaslighting.
He's like pulling out the whole PowerPoint prepresentation on why you should talk to me.
Why does he sound
severely
like that?
missing the point?
That whole thing made me just want to cancel this episode and go to bed.
Right?
Dude.
It did. Like,
he's severely missing the point that like obviously this person is not interested in talking to you. They just said they don't want to.
Like,
hello?
I'm just
Social interaction 101, James Charles.
He can't.
So,
Well, that's the problem. He doesn't have social interaction
No.
101. He thinks that
chronically online.
Yeah, and that's a huge problem. You need human interaction. Like a lot of times, like the people will say, get mad at the phrase "go touch grass," but if you don't think of it so literally, and you think of it just like actually just going out and putting yourself in society, like if you have a main street, just go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like it is de-stressing. Getting off the computer and seeing, like, it is information overload.
That's
and
just
it,
what
and
I
it
do
can
with
get
skate.
stressful.
That's just what I do with skating. Like, if I ever feel like, and I have kind of like, I've developed that internal clock when I can tell I've been, okay, that's enough internet for today, or that's enough phone for now. Like, go out, get some exercise. Not in a lot of it is, it's literally about being outside. Cause like, there are times where it's like, I'll go skate out in the outdoor barn, and it's not the same thing as being outside where there's actual fresh air. It actually hits you differently.
Well,
those two experiences.
It's a completely different form of information that your body's consuming when you do that, right? It's 3D. You're smelling the fresh air. You're seeing the trees. You're hearing the animals, right? This is so. It's
fatally online. He has a terminal case.
But no, so like I honestly
right
feel bad for these kids, like our generation, Mary, coming up, like. They're just addicted, and their whole life revolves around the internet and social media. And it's like you can't truly mature and grow as a person when that's your life.
Right.
And these problems that they are talking about, they're very real for them. They seem insignificant to us, but
yeah, it's not that the problems aren't real. It's just that it's such an overbearing thing
and
to
so
witness.
I understand, like, this video, although it was painful to watch him, like, he truly believes that FaceTiming is an essential part of having a relationship with someone.
But the guy doesn't want to have a relationship with them. The guy
is
wants to be
not
left
interested.
alone.
He is into women.
James Charles he's got to woo him, you know?
Off the bat, it's obviously very strange to be that hypersexual towards someone you don't know and you followed on social media like hours before, who also is not the same sexual orientation as you. It's like he has a weird thing about wanting to convince them that they are not straight, which is really creepy.
Men like a
He's
challenge.
almost like an incel. Like, some people commented, James Charles makes me realize you can literally have it all but still be chronically single. Isn't he a millionaire too?
Well, he lives in a $10 million mansion. That's one of the perks of being his boyfriend.
Other people suggested that he go on Raya, like all the other D-list celebrities.
He said it was Beverly Hills, right?
Yeah.
So what, does he have, like a makeup deal, like makeup brand, or what does he do?
He's just like an influencer. He has like brand deals, stuff like that.
What
He's
did he
been in the
do?
game for a long time.
I know. What did he do like 2 years ago that got him in a lot of trouble? Or
Mainly the messaging underage.
So this is just what
Well,
he
at
does.
least now he's doing the age check, the bare minimum to
Good citizen check.
Like maybe he should be in jail, but if we're not gonna send him to jail, at least he's checking their ID. It's kind of what was the story we were talking about recently that had to do with checking IDs? Didn't we do something?
Yeah,
Maddie
Maddie
Healy checking
wanted
the ID.
to like kiss one of his fans behind the barrier, and he made her take out her ID to prove that she was of age.
Listen, if you got to keep checking IDs.
Maybe just stop.
Just stop what you're doing, because it sounds like
pick the old lady. Like I want, like, you know how people get like upset when you get ID'd. Like I used to manage gas stations. People get mad when I ID them. I'm like, dude, I'm not IDing this because you look a certain age. It's just like I have to do it.
Yeah.
And
I don't have the $300 to get fined.
Well,
you know?
and like you lost your job. Like,
Yeah.
And it was more than that. The fines were like thousands of dollars. But like, pick the lady who's just so old there is no question.
I like it.
Like, she better like pick the silver haired lady, and like, just to be safe.
It's just you're
your
getting
own
into
peace of mind.
questionable territory for sure. And then James also made these comments about how he's in competition with some other girl that he's following on Instagram. Once again, being
this is not the
insanely
real world.
online.
This is not the real world, dude.
Yeah.
This is like, it's like we're online right now and we're not as online.
And speaking of a competition, like, who said you were even in the running being male and talking to a heterosexual man?
Yeah.
That, like, you're delusional.
Well, you want what you can't have. That's a very
I suppose
common
so.
human, you know.
I don't know, but I think like the defense that this is just part of gay culture to aggressively hit on people who are not interested back actually just makes all gay people look bad instead of
Is it a defense
this being an
mechanism?
embarrassing moment for just James Charles.
Is it kind of like a defense mechanism, or like kind of a bit of defiance because they know that the odds that they're also gay are low, so they do it as a way of like pushing back weirdly?
I have no idea. I mean,
should
I have no ability to step into James Charles's shoes, and I don't want to.
Even as a straight man, I would just not assume that most chicks are into me, therefore I will not hit on them, let alone being part of a smaller demographic and then just assume that...
You
He
know,
seems to not understand the risks of being a public figure and messaging someone who has a way smaller following than you and looking this unhinged and crazy. And he then gets angry after David posts all of the receipts and James tells him to go F himself or whatever. It just makes you look absolutely insane, like bonkers insane to behave this way. He'd be much better off interacting in person, but it seems he's not capable of doing that because he's already been exposed before for being creepy online.
And this is kind of just goes back to more about how the issue with... I can't say with Gen Z because you're Gen Z. You're very well rounded as a human being. But like it feels like this is a problem, at least with the influencer culture, right? That they don't really understand how the real world works, or at least their characters that they're playing in these on their social media profiles don't understand the way the real world works. And there's gonna always be that disconnect between a generation. Like my generation, I did not have. I had a computer in my house growing up, but I don't think we had the internet till I was in high school or anything like that. And I certainly didn't have I didn't have like a phone with internet or like I didn't even have a phone with text messaging until I was...
You're so lucky for that.
I
was just gonna say, and that's the thing. The problem with Gen Z, and I don't know what the next generation's called, but they're gonna be even worse than
Gen
Z.
Alpha, I think.
Gen Alpha. Every kid in a stroller that you see has a tablet or phone in them, and I do
Future
the YouTube,
James Charles of the world.
You know, and that's when you talk about the real danger of algorithms. It's because the kids aren't like, they're too young to like actively search out content they want to see. They just see the recommended and they click on that colorful box
Cocomelon.
and the next one.
Cocomelon.
You know, and they go from Cocomelon to friggin' James Charles.
And then they want to put makeup on. Like
first-
it's a whole
It's
pipeline.
a whole thing.
First, we
all
had the
right?
school to prison pipeline. Now we've got the Cocomelon to James Charles pipeline, and it's a dangerous pipeline indeed.
But it's just
Wow.
it's like what you're talking about, this influencer problem with being online, but it does become a generational problem because as the generations get younger, they're more and more increasingly online. Like they live there, you know?
The thing about influencers, I was telling Mary about this video I watched the other day. It's about this girl in a mall, and it's about influencer zombies, where she's just like in the mall on her phone, and a guy goes, "Hey, how much does your apartment cost in LA?" And she's like, $2,500. He's like, "Can I see it?" She goes, "No, you can't see
I
it."
love that.
And then like another guy comes up to her, and like a bunch of, they start, he's like, "What's your body count?" They're like, "How much did this?" And they start asking her all these questions, and she gets bit by one of the zombies, and like a guy jumps in and saves her with a Nerf gun and it adds like special effects as he's like blasting the influencer zombies
I
as
love
they escape the mall.
The influencers out of context
Yes.
page as well. Like
I've
just
never seen that one.
seeing people pose in ridiculous ways to make sure nobody else is in their shot.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like multiple influencers at once.
I've seen that one that I can't stand it, where it's like, "Yeah, how much does your apartment cost?" And he's like, "Can I go see it?" And the person's always like, "Yeah, sure, stranger. Come
Yeah.
with your cameras
Or
and your
you-
microphones to my home."
Seems
you know?
extremely staged.
Like,
It's
come
like, well,
on.
the other way. No, the other one's like, "Oh, nice car. What do you do for a living?" That's what they do to the girl. She's like, "I'm in a mall. I don't have a car. I'm not in my car." But the other thing is like, for that stuff, it's not only is it fake, it's
so unbearable though. Like even reality TV shows, we know it's fake.
Yeah.
WWE, we know it's fake, but it's still highly produced
Yes.
in a expensive way.
Yeah.
Dude, there's no effort. They
I mean,
like,
there's like the bare minimum. Like that's what I love
so
creative. That's why I
bad.
love creative videos. Like I love intellectually creative comedy because like people, I love the idea of there is a certain amount of democracy to the internet of like, if you're creative enough, you don't need a high budget or a bunch of cameras and lights to be able to make stuff that's engaging or interesting.
But that's the issue though. YouTube or the internet of 10 years ago, there's a democracy to
Yeah.
it. users are not dictating what's popular anymore. Algorithms are.
And your
And people are-
algorithm is tailored to your taste.
The websites you're using are increasingly becoming more efficient, so you have to click less, and it automates a lot more away. So it's like, that's why the TikTok people who are popular. It's because the algorithm's feeding it.
Yeah.
And because you're swiping, you're not searching for topics on TikTok. Like I could be wrong, but if there's TikTok users in chat, let me know. I don't think you're using that search function too much. I think you're just swiping and swiping.
I mean,
and
not
swiping.
general terms. You might search for a person, but you're not searching for general
like
terms.
on YouTube, if I want to watch a video, I'll search a subject, like
Yeah.
whatever it may be, like, I don't know, top 10 scariest stories in America, whatever, you know. TikTok, I don't know. I just it's becoming less of a democracy on the
You get
internet.
It's
caught
making
in
your
the-
curiosity obsolete.
You get caught.
Knows
in the
what you
doom
want before
scroll.
you do.
It's scary.
Well,
stuff.
you think that. I don't know if it's truly what you want.
Yeah,
you
is
know?
it what you want, or is it telling you what you want because it's just what's put in front of you? Like how many things in your life have you like bought or got just because it showed up in front of you one day? Like I'm guilty of this. Like I buy things that I don't need because I'm like, wow, I don't need this.
What did you buy?
It's hats.
Yeah, usually obscure.
Hats. A lot of times for me.
Clothing's always
Vintage
been a thing
stuff.
for.
It started. That was a thrift thing before, like vintage sports hats, and I liked it because it was not just about finding rare hats. It was about finding rare hats in good condition.
Well, that's cool.
That you could like clean and keep in good shape and stuff like
I
that.
thought you meant like
or,
the slap shop.
or no, or
something.
even like mountain tees. Do you know what mountain tees are? They're like it's like an eloquently drawn picture of like a bear, and it says like it's from like this camping site in this town. If you look it up, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Mountain Tea is a brand, and I used to collect rare mountain teas.
That's cool.
But that became kind of passe, and like I ended
Have you adopted a star?
up. No, I will. Never
We
do
were
that.
just talking about.
Yeah.
Or are you guys? That's funny.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. We could get the lordship or whatever. You get the lordship in Ireland.
You should do both.
All right. Do we want to watch the other video? Or am I gonna regret it?
The next video is James Charles basically saying that it's part of gay culture to aggressively hit on people who aren't interested.
Oh.
Well, that seems like a weird admission.
And because he's the spokesperson for all of gay culture, obviously.
course.
Yeah, okay.
You
Okay.
are straight, I would assume that you don't know a lot about like the gay community. So obviously, you are straight. I would
Yeah.
assume that you don't know a lot about.
So
like,
not
the
only is he
gay
hitting on
community.
someone who's not interested back, but also he's mansplaining or gay-splaining to them
Is that the term?
about what is normal for the gay
someone
community.
needs to find his. Someone needs to sign his email up for some political.
This man needs
emails.
help, honestly.
Well-
and then the sister of the TikToker who exposed all of this went and made her own video saying that he was just posting this for all like a clout and attention, and she thinks that people are unfairly getting on the bandwagon of hating on James Charles. But what I have to say to that is, if there's a bandwagon for hating on James Charles, it's probably because his behavior makes people uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And when that happens, I think that you should be socially shamed.
Well, if you're you're like it's part of straight male culture to aggressively hit on women. Like that's
Right.
that's not
like
acceptable.
you wouldn't believe that person either.
Yeah, well, it's
so
not
why
it's-
why now?
Why is one acceptable and one isn't?
Well, we know why.
Because being like
There's
being
social
a part of
cachet
the
to being gay.
LGBTQ movement right now, it's like you're
Yeah.
fighting back, you're standing up against the man. But it's like
Dude,
no,
that's the
So
I'm sorry,
somehow James
it's
Charles
the,
is still the victim
It's
here.
the same thing as like hearing Emily Ravioli talk about talking about like all these things, like women are like finally standing up to men and like women, strong independent women. We were never told we could do this. I'm like, you've been told your whole life you could do this. You literally like exactly. You're either lying or really dumb.
On that same podcast, they were like, we're taught from such a young age that everything we should do is about impressing men.
That's literally the
no
last. thing you're-
21st century woman has been taught that.
It's like we're told to be in the kitchen. I'm like, nobody says that to you anymore. There are because they will get
No one
in
has
trouble.
ever. If you were born in like the late 90s to like anywhere,
Yeah.
like any 21st century woman has never been taught any of these chauvinistic ideas that they claim they were taught.
Dude, home ec was removed like a long time ago. Like I was in like it still existed when I was in high school.
And there was nothing wrong with it.
And like, but it wasn't long after I graduated that home ec went bye-bye. Like it's
Because it's oppressive to know how to cook.
like yeah, it was like
Change the light
like,
bulb.
well, like I don't like they didn't.
Did they get rid of wood
they,
shop?
They didn't get rid of auto like
Not
out
in
of,
Canada.
of auto shop or anything like that. So it's like the girls can go learn how to fix cars, but what if a dude wanted to go learn how to cook? What if the dude doesn't have a 2-parent household and they eat a lot of fast
Just
food?
eat the slop.
I mean, it's the victim culture, the victim mindset's trendy now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's
I
got
laugh.
a reason why they can't.
It's my favorite thing in the world
You
to
know?
hear watch old TV shows and they're like, I don't want to be seen as a victim. I'm like, man, this is so dated. Holy crap. Like now it's like as soon as something bad happens to someone, they're like, cha-ching.
But
Hell
I used to
yeah.
say this is what they're teaching the kids, but it's just they are practicing what they preach, right? So James Charles, Ratatouille, right?
Ravioli.
Ravioli, give me the formioli.
Well, they're saying, here's what I don't have. This is why life is so bad for me, and this is why I can't do it. Right? Rather
can't
than
adult right
saying,
now.
here are some obstacles
so
that
sick
I've
of adulting.
overcome. These
I
are
hate
some
that term,
challenges I
too.
faced, and I prevailed. There is no triumph anymore.
No.
It's a sad reality.
Well, that's
right now.
because, you can't triumph because if you did, it's because you were inherently allowed to triumph by the system, and everybody else that doesn't triumph, they're being held down by the system. Yeah,
course.
there is no value anymore put on just like overcoming something, like at all.
Silently.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.